Hey YouTube, this is Rusty News and Park Fan 62. This is uh, Kings Island's Winterfest. Now, I've done several videos about this, so go check those out. But this is my overall thoughts on the whole event. Now, I did something similar yesterday, but I want to do something where I kind of go a little bit more in depth. Um, First, I want to start with the experience. The experience for this is one of the biggest things out there. So this is the sort of stuff that brings people coming back. Um, Now, typically, like in a review that I did, I said it was more on the Six Flags level. Now, while like the lights and stuff are about at a Six Flags level, maybe slightly above, it's still impressive for what it is. Like in Action Zone, which is called like Icy Zone or something in that ballpark. Um, it's cool because they have like it looks like a slide, but it's for like tubing. It's so you can go down like this slide with a tube. They have like a lot of blue and white lights to make it look icy looking, stuff like that. Um, So then they have stuff like penguins and snowflakes and um, snowmen. They have a cool thing where they can carve a stuff out of ice, stuff like that. That is very cool. Um, and then as you're leaving, you start seeing like multicolored lights on trees and bushes and stuff like that. So, and then as you go toward like Rivertown, Coney Mall, and stuff like that, you'll start seeing a lot more white lights. Now, the cool thing that they do throughout the event is they have different types of white lights through the event. So they have the traditional, like warm white style LEDs, as well as like kind of like the icy ones as well. The icy ones are typically in the action zone area, while the warm whites are throughout the park. The warm whites sort of remind you of the incandescent Christmas lights. So you have that. Now, I will say this. The biggest thing I don't like with this event in general, minus a few areas, is the lack of props. Now, okay, for example, with haunts, no matter where you go, especially in the scare zone areas, they have a lot of like props and stuff like that. Um, Now, am I saying they need to have blow molds, inflatables, stuff like that everywhere? No, but it would help with certain things. Now they do have cool like picture opportunities throughout. So, for example, you have this one where it's a soccer game during the season, but now it's like a thing where it's like I think you sit in on like a bench or something, and behind you it says "Greetings from Kings Island's Winterfest," and it has like trees around it. That's kind of neat. Close to that, it's also like a sleigh. Dollywood did something similar years ago. I'm not sure if they still have the sleigh or not, but it's stuff like that. Um, that I kind of wish they had more of. The other thing that was neat was um, I said it in the walk around, was the like the icy blue section. Um, so if you've gone to Kings Island in the past for Haunt, for example, you would know that was the pumpkin scare zone. You can kind of tell that had something to do with Halloween because they also mixed in had green lights as well. I don't know if they just don't use the green lights or they just didn't bother taking them off or what, but you could tell the green lights were there, especially if you walk around during the day. Now, the other cool thing is on that little like side pathway. Um, so they had some cool little things mixed in there. Um, and then where, so like right around where the graveyard was during Haunt, so they had what looked like gingerbread houses with like these twig lights that twinkled and like deer and stuff like that. So that was kind of neat. The only thing that I did not see, I don't know if it was just put in another location throughout the park or what, was the last year they had these like giant heads of like Santa Claus, a snowman, and I think an elf. I know at least Santa and the snowman. I think an elf. Don't quote me on the elf. I didn't see those, so I don't know if those were just put somewhere else or what. Um, now, so it's stuff like that. The other thing I like too as well. Well, I don't celebrate the holiday. I appreciate them including it in there for the people who do. I did it in the walk around too. Um, they had stuff to celebrate Hanukkah. So they had this like thing where it looked like the menorah. I think that's what it's called. And they had a sign that said like Happy Hanukkah and stuff like that. And the on the side that Hanukkah spin thing. Um, if you know the name of it, please put it down below. I'm sorry, I don't know. Um, now the thing I did not like was that I showed was that it was the kids' building going into Planet Snoopy. I am not entirely sure what that building's for, so I know it has something to do with kids. That I know, but it where it had like all these different color lights, which looked cool, and then the icicles that kind of like were red and that kind of twinkled and stuff like that. Those that looked neat. But the thing I did not like was the techno blinking thing. I don't know. That just to me does not look that great. Um, while it was Christmas music, it was like techno Christmas music, and I'm just kind of. It wasn't. It's not really my thing to begin with. So, I mean that has nothing to do with it though. I just wish they did something like just play like traditional Christmas music or have like one of those like Mr. Christmas ones that kind of blink and stuff like that. Because the way from that looks, it looks like that type where it's like you hook it up to a computer and you know, sort of like what you see around Halloween. Um, so there's that. Now, I love the whole tree lighting ceremony gig. Um, and that to me is kind of neat. So it's not just one of those, where you have a person from the park be like, either flip a switch or pull like a giant lever or some sort of shtick like that. I'm talking about like where they sing like Christmas carols and then count down. The other cool thing, um, too, I'm sorry I'm referring to Haunt so much, but that's one of the things I know more about than Christmas is if you watched my video of the ending to Haunt on the great on the Eiffel Tower, um, you would see that I show like those uh, things with lights where they have like a lot of those dancing or those lights you see like typically like concerts and stuff that shine and then that can strobe light and do all these other cool effects. Um, and then you have these lights on each of the buildings where they're typically in like it's typically like a yellowish green color on all the buildings, and then when they start counting down, all those kind of flash and stuff like that, which is really cool to see. Now, um, but the the thing I wish they do is this: they they open the gates to let you park about an hour before the event starts. Okay, that is fine. But I wish they would open where you can like scan your ticket or season pass to go in, and at least you can like start buying food, start buying hot cocoa, stuff like that about 30 minutes before all that starts, because the problem with that is you just have people standing out there a lot of times in the cold for about 30 minutes just waiting. So I kind of wish they do that because like for Haunt and the regular season, a lot of the times they will. I think it's about like 30 minutes or so before the park actually opens, and then two during those times as well on certain days they will open the park even earlier if you have a gold or platinum pass. Now, okay, which leads me to this last thing. The thing I wish they did is have more rides in operation. Currently, the only major attractions that are open at this time is Mystic Timbers and Flight of Fear. Um, and that is it. And then you have typically a lot of the family slash somewhat thrill rides open. So you have stuff in Planet Snoopy that's open, except for about two things, I believe it is. So the Pounce and Bounce isn't open, as well as the family suspended coaster. Um, and then in Coney Mall, the Monster is not open. Um, but the thing I wish they could at least have open would be like maybe like the Racer or something like that, because wood coasters can usually go better in the cold. Now, I'm not saying like if it's like 20 degrees, for example, to have it running then, because I'm sure these parks know the cutoff for each coaster. But I understand they want to try and get a head start on the winterization for a lot of those things because it probably takes a long time to get each of the coaster cars pulled apart, fix whatever they need to fix, put them back together, and then get them ready to send out to put back on the tracks for inspection, and then get them ready for opening day. I realize that. But, I mean, if, for example, if Carowinds can run Fury 325 in 40-degree weather, maybe it can be slightly less, I don't know. I don't see why Kings Island couldn't run Orion. I mean, that would look extremely cool, especially with the blue light, stuff like that. Or if they can't run it, try and make it festive in some How you can do that, I'm not entirely sure. But the other cool thing I would love to see Kings Island do and incorporate in some way, maybe you can do it going up in Vertigo or something in that ballpark, is like a blow mold Santa and sleigh set and have it lit up, or like have it going like across the Snowflake Lake. I think that's what it's called. So stuff like that, like have it maybe go between buildings or something in that ballpark. Something like that would be cool. Um, Maybe going up the Eiffel Tower, something like that. Because you just need more stuff like that to make it better. Um, I don't know if it was just because of the Kings Island's 50th anniversary, as well as maybe Haunt kind of set them back. So it's kind of like they knew it was coming, but they weren't sure about it. I don't know for sure. Um, but I just kind of wish they would start adding more stuff like that around.